Here's a bold statement that might shock you. No contact isn't just a strategy, it's a weapon. Now, before you roll your eyes and dismiss this, think about it. If you want to make a woman miss you, understand something. She can't miss what she never loses. No contact, when used correctly, isn't about being silent or playing games. It's about creating an undeniable shift in the relationship dynamic that forces her to reconsider everything. It's time to break the lie. You've been told that if you chase a woman enough, show her how much you care, and beg for her attention, she'll eventually fall for you. That's complete nonsense. In fact, doing the opposite, making her work for your attention, is one of the most powerful ways to bring a woman back into your life. When you're always available, you become predictable and lose your value. You become a convenience rather than someone she actually desires. Here's the painful reality. Most men don't understand the psychology behind no contact. They think that if they cut off communication for a few days, it's just an excuse to avoid the tough conversations. What they don't realize is that no contact is about creating emotional space. It forces her to face the possibility of losing you, which triggers a shift in her feelings. That space becomes the catalyst for her to reflect, to feel the absence, and to realize your true value. Now, I'm not saying you should play manipulative games. This is about taking control of your emotional state, maintaining your boundaries, and making sure you're never the one chasing. It's time to stop giving away your energy for free. If you want her to chase, you need to make her realize what it feels like to live without you. No contact is the ultimate tool to do just that. 1-No contact equals power. Here's the thing no one tells you. Chasing a woman is a sign of weakness. You're handing over your power every time you act desperate, trying to force a connection, or texting her endlessly when she's not reciprocating. In doing so, you're basically telling her that your value is tied to her attention, and that's a massive turnoff. The reality is, when you stop chasing, you take back control of the situation. Here's where no contact comes into play. It's not just about cutting off communication, it's about setting the tone and changing the power dynamic. When you pull back, she's no longer the one controlling the conversation. Instead, you control the space between you two. This is where your power comes from, in the distance, in the silence. Why does this work? Because people value what they can't have. When you're constantly available, she knows she can get your attention whenever she wants, and it becomes predictable. But when you pull away, she feels the absence. That absence makes her realize that she could lose you, and that fear of loss triggers a deeper emotional response. Now, she's the one chasing you, not the other way around. Think about it. Women are drawn to men who have boundaries and a life outside of them. You need to show her that you're not desperate for her attention. You're not sitting around waiting for her to reach out. Your life is full, and if she wants to be part of it, she has to meet you where you are. Let's be real. How many times have you found yourself texting her first, hoping for a response? How many times have you set aside your plans just to make sure she's okay, only to find that she's still not that invested? When you stop chasing, you flip the script. You stop acting out of desperation, and you start acting from a place of power. You control the situation. It's not about manipulation, it's about creating a healthy distance. The moment you stop chasing, you stop being her emotional backup. You show her that your time, attention, and energy are precious, and that's the kind of man women respect. Your next step? Stop chasing. Set boundaries and start controlling your own narrative. The moment you do this, you'll see how much more. 2. Space triggers her emotion. It's not just the physical distance that matters when you go silent, it's the emotional space you create. When you pull back, it forces her to feel the absence of you in her life. And that is where real emotional triggers happen. Let's be clear. Emotion is driven by what we lack, not what we have. When you're constantly there, always available and in her face, she doesn't have the opportunity to experience your value. The moment you pull back, you create a vacuum, and that's when her emotions start to stir. Think about it. Emotions are often rooted in fear. Fear of loss, fear of uncertainty, and fear of being alone. When you're present all the time, she knows she can always count on you. There's no tension, no questioning. But when you disappear for a while, her mind starts to race. What's he doing? Is he seeing someone else? Does he not care anymore? These questions open up a space for doubt, and doubt, in turn, creates desire. Absence doesn't just make her miss you, it forces her to confront the possibility of losing you. And when that happens, her emotions get a shakeup. Now, she's not just thinking about you casually, she's questioning her own feelings and whether she wants to lose you. This dynamic is what makes you seem more mysterious and valuable in her eyes. Remember, space equals tension, and tension equals emotional growth. If you're always there to fill every moment with your presence, you never allow room for emotional development. She doesn't have to work for it. She's never forced to confront her feelings for you. But when you go quiet and suddenly you're not available the way you used to be, she feels that void. That void becomes powerful because it forces her to emotionally invest in you. You're not playing games. You're simply creating a space where emotions can grow. The longer you remain absent, the more she feels your absence on a deeper level. It's the absence that makes her wonder if she truly wants you or if she can live without you. To trigger this emotional response, distance yourself emotionally and physically for a while. Don't be the one reaching out all the time. Let her feel the absence and start questioning everything. Only then will she realize how much you truly mean to her. 3. She needs to earn you back. Let's be honest. Too many men make the mistake of being too available. You think that by always being there, answering every text or jumping into action whenever she needs you, you're showing how much you care. But in reality, you're devaluing yourself. No one values what's easily accessible or always on demand. You become the easy option, and that's the last thing you want to be. In relationships, just like in business, the most attractive thing you can offer is scarcity. When you're too available, you lose your edge. But when you pull back and make her realize your value, she begins to see you as someone who isn't easily available. She'll start to appreciate your presence because she knows it's earned, not automatic. Think about how things change when you're not constantly in front of her. The truth is, people respect what they have to put effort into. When you make yourself too accessible, you send the message that you're always around, and subconsciously, she doesn't feel the need to put in any real effort. She knows you'll just be there when she needs you, but when you pull back, she feels the shift, and that creates a challenge for her. She needs to earn your attention and your time. This doesn't mean playing games or pretending to be disinterested. It means that you stop being the one chasing or always available at her convenience. You have your own life, your own goals, and your own values. When you show that you're not willing to compromise those for her, she starts to realize that she has to prove herself worthy of your attention. Make her invest emotionally. This isn't about manipulation. It's about making her respect you and your time. If you give too much of yourself too quickly, you give her nothing to chase, nothing to work toward. She needs to earn your trust, your time, and your emotional investment. When you stop handing everything over on a silver platter, you force her to take a deeper look at what you offer and realize that you are not just a convenience. The key is simple. Make her realize you're not an option she can take for granted. Let her see that your presence in her life isn't a given. When she has to earn your attention, she begins to value it more deeply, and that's what makes her truly desire you. 4. No contact creates desire. Let's get real for a second. Too many men fail to understand the power of no contact. They're so desperate to stay in the game, thinking that constant communication will make her realize what a great guy they are. But the truth is, this constant chasing only weakens your position. You're not the prize in her eyes. You're just another option, and you're just as easily replaceable as any other guy. But when you go silent, when you pull back and create that space, you shift the balance. Here's where men mess up. They keep chasing, they keep showing up, and they keep proving themselves. And they never give her the space to miss them. They think if they're constantly there, she'll appreciate them. Wrong. She doesn't appreciate what she never has to work for. When you become too available, when you don't give her any reason to miss you, you stop being a challenge. You become just another guy in the background. No challenge equals no desire. When you pull back and stop initiating contact, something powerful happens. You stop being the one she can take for granted, and suddenly you become a little more mysterious, a little more elusive. You're no longer the first option. Now you're the prize. And let me be clear, if you're always around, you're not the prize. You're just another face in the crowd. By disappearing for a while, you're not just giving her space. You're creating a void. That void makes her question her feelings and question her choices. What happens when she realizes she can't just reach out to you anytime? What happens when she starts to feel the weight of losing someone who is always there? The craving starts. The desire builds. Now here's where some of you need to wake up. If you're constantly available, you're killing your own value. Stop being afraid of space. Stop being afraid of silence. No contact is not a punishment, it's a strategy. It makes you the one she wants to chase, to fight for, to miss. It's only when she has to work for your time and attention that she starts seeing you as the prize, the one who isn't so easy to get. So, the next time you're tempted to reach out to fill the silence, remember, no contact equals desire. You're not chasing her anymore. Now, she's the one chasing you. 5. She will respect you more. Let's face it, too many men lack self-respect in relationships, and it shows. You keep giving and giving, bending over backward for her, and all that does is make her take you for granted. But when you finally decide to cut the cord, to walk away from the toxic cycle of overgiving and desperation, you begin to command respect. Here's the truth. Respect is never given freely. It's earned, and it's only earned when you show her that you know your own worth. When you are always available, always at her service, you diminish your value. You make her believe you have nothing better to do with your time. But when you cut ties and step away, you are sending a clear message. You are not someone to be taken for granted. By cutting the cord, you show her that you are someone who respects themselves. And respect for yourself is the first step toward gaining respect from others. Women won't respect a man who puts them on a pedestal and bends over backward to please them. Instead, they want someone who values their time, their energy, and their life. You set the tone by showing that you have boundaries, and when you walk away, it makes her see that you aren't just another guy willing to jump through hoops for her. It's tough, but here's the reality. You have to be willing to walk away to prove your worth. It's only when you stop chasing her that she starts to realize what she's losing. The moment you stop making her the center of your universe, she realizes that you have a life, that you have your own ambitions, and that she has to respect you if she wants to be a part of it. When you walk away, you're not being weak or scared. You're taking control of your life. You're showing her that your self-respect doesn't depend on her validation. And here's the kicker. When you don't need her approval, she'll start to respect you more. It's that simple. So, if you want respect, if you want her to truly value you, stop chasing her, stop settling for scraps, and cut the cord. Only then will she realize that the man she's dealing with is someone who knows exactly how much he's worth. And that, my friend, will make her respect you more than ever before. 5. She will respect you more. Let's face it, too many men lack self-respect in relationships, and it shows. You keep giving and giving, bending over backward for her, and all that does is make her take you for granted. But when you finally decide to cut the cord, to walk away from the toxic cycle of overgiving and desperation, you begin to command respect. Here's the truth. Respect is never given freely. It's earned, and it's only earned when you show her that you know your own worth. When you are always available, always at her service, you diminish your value. You make her believe you have nothing better to do with your time. But when you cut ties and step away, you are sending a clear message. You are not someone to be taken for granted. By cutting the cord, you show her that you are someone who respects themselves. And respect for yourself is the first step toward gaining respect from others. Women won't respect a man who puts them on a pedestal and bends over backward to please them.